Welcome back to the Runeterra show. No, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
This is why
I'm sorry.
This is like content.
Yeah,
Sorry. Come on.
Well, it's because we never do an intro like this. Normally,
No, we just talk.
Then stop trying to do it.
Cool. So Arcane was awesome. How did you guys like Arcane? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the way that goes.
I thought it was very cool. I went in and I was a little bit worried because I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, and I'm sorry if this is controversial, but Western animation generally sucks. And I was very, very happy with how well they did it.
Yeah, no, it was actually very beautiful, the whole animation and everything. And it was well written. Like, honestly, it's such a very, very well done, and I'm very impressed.
did you guys know that I was just reading about the two guys that were like the showrunners or whatever that were kind of like in charge? They were just from Riot.
Yeah.
They started off in like customer service, community building, whatever. Like we're just like rioters from like way back, and they had just been like promoted to do this. They talked about farming it out, you know, to like other organizations or people or whatever, getting people that like you know produce shows to come do it. And instead they were just like, hey, you guys that like know the Riot lore really well, that like have worked with us for forever, you're doing it. And they just nailed it. I mean, it took them 6 years, but like
It's so
that's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And like,
I mean, that's the kind of thing that you get when you just like take people who know their shit and let them run loose instead of trying to go for people who are theoretically supposed to be good at this.
I mean, we could have got, you know, like I had hoped they were gonna get someone that did like, you know, we could have got like the Dragon Ball movie or like the Airbender movie or like, I don't know, the Street Fighter movie. Like there's like so much good stuff there, you know, when you just hire someone else to make a show about your intellectual property.
Yeah, the Death Note movie, you know, there's a long line of intellectual properties that have just really been elevated by, you know, going to
Professional.
yeah. Maybe, you know, Arcane is good because it's just the show. Once we have a movie, then we can join the Patreon.
It's a very good
That's
point.
right.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's definitely solid so far. I think that it's going to be interesting to see where they take it from here, because if they're trying to tell the whole story in only 9 episodes, I think they're going to have to use time skips. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
to see
that's
how
what I thought they were doing,
handle
because
this.
they put it into like 3 acts. I thought it was going to be split into like 3 time jumps, but I guess we'll see. I'm excited to see what they do.
I feel like it almost has to be, but I'm.
Yeah. My thinking was that the next 3 will be them like grown up and like kind of trained, or maybe like the montage, or maybe like one episode of them like training and like, you know, and then they learn to become badasses basically. And then the last 3 will be set up for the showdown between like good and bad, or sister or whatever it ends up being, right? The big climax.
The cool part.
We're going full montage up in here. I dig it.
3 episodes
I
of
want some fight
montage would be
montage.
sick.
So yeah, I mean, also though, the other big part of it was like, man, they spared no expense when it came to promoting this thing. Hey, and they're not done even.
Yeah.
Like, let's see, it was on the side of the Burj Khalifa. It was in like that Times Square. It was in Moscow, Tokyo. Like it was in Fortnite.
Yeah,
Reddit.
whole world knows what's up.
Wild.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
And it worked too. Like they came in #1 on Netflix as it came
really?
out. Like, yeah, they unseated Squid Game to come out #1 on Netflix.
Crazy.
So they did their shit well.
Dang.
They did that, and it didn't suck. Like that's when you think about these general like big corporations doing these big advertising stunts, you're like, okay, cool thing, but where's the product? And they just like actually also knocked it out of the park.
I think
So,
it's, you know, a
I'm
lot of
into it.
people, once you throw that much money into like advertising, it feels like either this was going to be really good or really bad. And either way, we win because we get to, you know, watch it crash or just be great. And thankfully, it was pretty good.
They certainly polarized their range. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I'm excited to see the rest of it too. Can't wait. It's the next 2 weekends, right? Is that how we're working?
Yeah,
I think so.
That's my
3
The
episodes.
20th, I think.
Next
20th
once a
December
weekend, right?
6th.
I think so.
Oh, so there's
Well,
28. So there's nothing this coming weekend then?
No. I think it's once
Yeah,
a week. I think it's 13th and then 20th, and then they're done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, really? Let me double check. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I saw something.
That
about
sounds
December.
about right.
It also
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't matter
Anywho.
that much. They will show up on
Right.
Netflix. Really watch them.
Exactly. And speaking of things not being done, like Runeterra, we're about to get all of our awesome stuff. We're gonna get like new cards, new champion, Jayce, new PvE adventure. Is there anything else, or are the
Yeah,
are
that
those
looks,
the two things? I think there's
I think it's PV,
Yeah,
PvE and the
altogether.
new
And
And
cards.
also an event pass. Paw.
yeah,
cosmetics?
mega event pass, right? Wasn't it like
Mega
a
event pass.
yeah?
That's what it said.
So
I
I,
don't know
I
what
bet
that
there's
means,
still more stuff.
but
That is totally a thing that I pay attention to and understand.
I mean, none of us
I won't
really
give you
know with
votes.
it.
see, some of us,
New
what
emotes,
I
yeah.
you know, like we lose games sometimes, and the only thing to like pull us out of our depression is to look at cute things. You know, like I have my cute guardian, I have my board that I can just spam click on. It's very therapeutic. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
You might
At
not
least
know
I got
that. You don't
Spirit
lose
Blossom
much.
petals, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
When you lose.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So
Um,
speaking of cards and new champs, let's
Yeah.
dive into it. So
Side apart.
Jayce, I'm not gonna lie, like they set up the thing for Jinx and Vi to be sisters, but Jayce kind of feels like baby Vi as far as the actual card goes. Anybody else getting those vibes?
I definitely feel that. So like he's
Maybe.
4 mana,
Just me?
4/4. When you play him, you can choose to either give him quick attack or challenger, right? And I think a lot of the time,
Yeah.
if he is,
Like,
you know, just getting challenger, he's very much like a baby buy. Yeah.
I think a lot of the time, Jayce is just going to be a 4-mana 4/4 challenger, and that's fine. And if you're playing against a control deck, maybe, or you're on the aggro, maybe he's a 4-mana 4/4 quick attack. But I think if Jayce is good, then kind of like Vi, it's not because you're like trying to level him or do anything crazy with his doubling of 6+ spells. I think it's more that like maybe your deck incidentally levels him, but you just get to play a 4-mana 4/4 challenger quick attack, and that seems
Yeah.
pretty solid.
No, like he's probably will just be splashable, like just because you can play that and you never level him, and that's probably gonna be fine for a lot of decks. Like a 4-mana 4/4 challenger is pretty good.
it's just one or the other,
Yeah.
right? You don't get
Mhm.
quick attack and challenger.
Yeah.
You choose one.
No, that
Okay.
would be so
Okay.
You
busted.
choose one.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
And then
agree. It looks to me like, you know, it requires you to play what, like 2 6+ cost spells to flip him. Like I don't know how many decks
Yeah.
are like consistently doing
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if you decide that your Thermo Beam does it for you, then it's actually not
I
that
just
bad.
think that I don't know how many decks are gonna
Right?
like hard index on that. Like I think for Jayce to be good, he has to be good without flipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he will be.
what
I-
happens when he flips?
So Jayce flips, gets the +1/+1 like everybody does, and then he doubles the first 6+ spell that you play every turn. So he becomes kind of mini karma. He goes from being mini Vi to mini karma.
karma.
And then he also gives you the acceleration gate, which is kind of like for Demacia, but
Yeah.
bad. But that's fine.
So for acceleration gate, 6 mana, slow speed, give all allies +2/+0 and quick attack this round. If they already have quick attack, then you get a random keyword. This seems fine. Like you're getting it for free, right? As long as you don't
Yeah.
main deck it, it seems good.
Yeah, like it will definitely occasionally swing games with a wide board, but it's again kind of like everything else we're looking at and what we were saying earlier. It's not a big enough payoff that you can decide leveling Jayce is something you want to focus on. At least I don't think so. Like I think the first set of Jayce decks we're gonna see are gonna be like Jayce Lux, and everyone's trying to level Jayce and level Lux and do cool things. Or they're gonna be like Jayce with Freljord, where we try to play Winter's
Yeah.
Breath and then just destroy all of their stuff as
God,
soon as
that
you level
sounds so
Jayce.
funny.
And I think those are going to be really bad. And I think if and when we see a good Jayce deck, because I think we probably will, because he actually feels like he's a really solid set of champion, it'll be just like splashing him, and you're playing 3 Thermo Beams and maybe like 3 or 4 other 6+ cards. And he'll like level every once in a while, and when he does it, you're
So
super
Jordan,
fine
you're
with that.
telling me that double Fuel the Rush is not insane.
I am saying that if you pay 12 mana for Field and Rush and you haven't won the game, you've done something else wrong.
Hey, it happens.
I mean, I've done that too. I was doing that on ladder recently. I couldn't stop playing Gangplank Sejuani, and I would play Field and Rush, and then they would play Field and Rush, and theirs was just better. I'm like, hey, fuck you.
So
So maybe Jayce is the answer. Maybe I need 4 10 10s like that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So as far as
Or
Jayce,
does it?
like, so flip Jayce, the first 6+ mana spell you cast per turn gets doubled. Does he have to be on the field, or is this like Zoe? Do we know?
He's on the field, I think. That'd be kind of crazy.
It'd be kind of crazy.
Whoa. He has to see it happen, you mean?
No. I'm pretty sure it's not same.
So Jayce levels on deck, but I think his ability is
Yeah.
Karma style,
Okay.
not Zoe style. I don't think you get to flip Jayce,
I
have
just
Jayce
wasn't
die,
sure.
and keep his effect.
That could be kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're right. That's a valid question.
I think it's a valid
Oh.
question, but if you can flip Jayce, have him die, and keep his effect, then maybe I'm wrong, and we can look at a level Jayce deck.
So like,
'cause that
what are
sounds
the
dumb.
fun spells to double? Like Winter's Breath. That sounds fucking hilarious.
Winter's Breath.
Well,
Glorious evolution.
I feel like it should work that way. 'Cause,
Glorious
like, I don't think he's
Evolution?
good enough, really. Otherwise, he's just like he's fine. Because like it's not easy to just be throwing around a bunch of 6 mana spells, right? Especially like the current meta where everything's so
Like,
fast.
I'm thinking if you were to run him in like Bandle City or something, right? And you get like a Thermo Beam and a Mini Morph, and
Yeah.
like he's flip.
Yeah, exactly. It's Thermo and Mini.
Or multi-tap.
Or
Is
if
that what it's called?
you
The
Oh my god. It's called
No.
double tap? Yeah,
Tap
yeah.
or something.
It's doesn't.
or if
oh,
you're gonna
dub-
put him in SI, right? You can do honestly, he might be really solid in SI because you can do like
Vengeance,
Thermo,
yeah.
Vengeance, and
I
Brood
thought it was
Awakening.
pretty funny that people were talking about the double tap interaction with Jayce, where like if you have the 7 mana 5/4 with 4 impact, and then you double tap something that's like invincible or something, you can strike 5 times in combat, and then you get
Just
20
OTK your
damage of
opponent.
impact. Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's brilliant.
It's kind of 5-head. Monty was on that within like as soon as he was like revealed.
Yeah, it has to be Monty. Monty loves those weird like impact kills, and I don't know why.
I remember like as soon as Jayce was revealed, he's like, dude, I think there's an OTK here. And then like an hour later on Twitter, he has like a picture and it's like
It's like,
Okay, but here's the real question: what if I doubled Atrocity?
what if you doubled mini
surely
morph?
it wouldn't work, right?
Wait,
Okay.
I
What if you
know it
double
would
Druid
work.
Mage?
That
You,
was the
you
point.
can double atrocity on like
Tryndamere can be
Wait,
double
wait.
atrocity.
if they deny the first atrocity,
No,
Okay, that's
need
fair. That's a
3
good point. You
regions.
do these regions, but in labs,
So you can like Lamb's respite atrocity.
Oh, okay. Wait. What if I double Cosmic
That's
Inspiration?
actually I mean that's
oh,
game
that's
Wait,
interesting.
hold on.
Okay,
though.
okay, because
Hold on.
falling.
Okay,
Comet
that's
is
actually
6 mana
interesting.
too.
Yeah, because Comet. I can play only Thermo Beam and level
Sunburst
Jayce
as
with
well, right?
Comets.
I can
Wait a
play
minute.
Jayce
And Jayce
and
can-
Vi in a tournament lineup.
Zoe Jayce.
I mean, why not?
Then I
Zoe
can play
anything
Vi in a
is a deck.
different.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
true.
I'm sorry that I immediately went to Targon. I realize I have an addiction. I'd say I'm gonna get help, but that was a
Yeah.
lie.
I saw a
Reading
really
was
dumb
fine, it's
like
okay.
idea where you play Stony Suppressor and then your 5
Oh,
mana
that's
spells
not-
become 6 mana.
That's kind of broken.
Wait, try
And
that.
you walk them out at the same time. It's perfect.
Make Tri-Beam make Tri-Beam 6
Amazing.
mana. And then all of your 2 mana spells stack Tri-Beam.
6.
Mystic
Okay, moving on. moving on.
Oh, man.
Time trick.
What else got spoiled?
Okay. Going down from Jayce, I think I think a lot of these are have serious chance to do good things. Forge of Tomorrow seems pretty
That card
solid.
is insane.
So what does Forge of Tomorrow do? I caught
It's
up.
a 3. So it's a
Oh, it's
okay,
3
okay,
mana landmark. When it's summoned, you summon a Forge Worker, which is apparently just a vanilla 3/3. And then the landmark stays on the field. And the next time that you cast a 6+ cost spell, you destroy the landmark and instantly refill all your spell mana. I think this shit is broken. This is
That's
an
insane.
insane fucking.
That's kind of nuts. It's a free 3/3, right?
it's a 0 mana 3/3. Like Riot heard the players and all of you out there who were saying the Tri-Beam decks were dead. He was like, "We got
See,
you."
I-
There's
I'm just
there is a
imagining
plan.
this is like banking mana, but like extra banking
Yeah.
mana. Like you have a little piggy bank that you could just break anytime you need extra mana, right? You know, you wanna mini morph. Your mini morph is now 3 mana. Like what the fuck is that? It's insane. The big one,
Yeah.
you can
Insane.
thermo. If you thermo for 6+ mana, you refill your mana. You're
Yup.
no longer tapped out. this card is fucking insane.
Yeah.
I swear to you, this is the best card in the
Yeah.
set.
I mean, this is something we've known for forever in card games, right? When you break the rules of like resources, like when you cheat on mana, that's when things get broken or busted or unfair, right? Burble fish in Runeterra, there's lots of examples. In Magic, there's a million examples.
I remember another landmark we had that helped us cheat on mana. And I remember that landmark being good.
I mean,
You
it
don't
still helps
speak
you
of that
cheat on
temple-
mana.
I mean,
though.
that landmark.
God, that card was
just
so
I was gonna leave
good.
that
So
there.
I think the
Yeah.
question with this is going to be, if I have multiple landmarks out and I cast a spell, can I save my
Oh.
second landmark? So I think
Mm. Yeah,
I think they're
Yeah,
both gonna
they're
die.
both
I think
gonna-
they're both gonna
Doesn't
die the
sound
way
like
it's, the
it.
way it's gonna
that
trigger.
makes it a little bit worse, right?
I think
Because
depending on how it works, because if you could keep one of them and it only breaks one, then that's amazing.
that'd be really nice.
So the text reads, when you cast a 6+ spell,
Yeah.
destroy me and refill your spell mana. And from what we know, multiple spell mana refills just fail
So-
to refill farther.
Yeah.
So I'm reasonably certain that what will happen is you will just
Yeah, but when
get
you have
them
2
both blown
Roiling
up,
Sands and
unfortunately.
someone summons a unit, like it doesn't break both 2 Roiling Sands and you could get vulnerable twice. I mean, I guess it
It's
is
different with
but it
Yeah,
can
but
be
if I
like-
play, two Living Legends, I don't get 20 mana.
Okay, yeah.
I
That's
think
Yeah, and I think Roiling Sands just does that because
Nate already has vulnerable.
yeah, like if you
Yeah, it won't trigger on things that already have vulnerable. It's the same way that Gangplank
Mhm.
won't trigger it
But
with
like
the barrel.
this
right?
card, I think is just so generically strong that it's probably going to get splashed in like every PNZ deck. But especially like Glorious Evolution Shellfolk excites me
Mm,
because now we're playing Glorious
Well, the
Evolution
problem is
on
I don't-
7, and we get extra mana. So if we don't have otters, then we can start playing out time tricks and pokey sticks and hidden pathways
play
to
on-
draw.
it does sound very good for that.
Or sometimes you
Yeah.
don't need the extra mana on 7, right? But being able to like mini morph on turn 5 and not fuck your manas, kind of really good.
Okay, but the issue with Forge of Tomorrow in GE Shellfolk is, what are you
Figure
cutting,
something out.
right? There's already so many different things
Yeah.
I want to play in that
We'll
deck.
figure something out.
are all these cards PNZ, by the way?
Yes.
I think all the ones that have
Yes.
I think
most
so.
Definitively.
Okay.
All right, so Forge of Tomorrow seems sick. What do we think about Jayce's Champ spell? Jayce's Champ spell is Shock Blast, 6 mana slow, deals 3 to enemy or enemy nexus, and 3 to something else.
I think this is very like similar to like a Poppy spell where I don't think it's gonna be main decked, but if you just like double draw it, there's gonna be certain board states that are just like insane. Because like looking at it, it's like double like I don't know, get excited on a stick or like slightly better Withering Mist, which are all like playable cards. And with some like the synergy stuff, maybe it's like not bad. Just as a second.
I just really like
Yeah.
the animation it has. Like, he just shoots the gun and then something gets boomed and then he goes.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
There's a whole-
I
it's
interesting
gonna
thing
play
will be
that.
how many decks main deck this just to pop Forge of Tomorrow. Just because if this costs 3 mana, it's kind of really fucking good, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is that like not everything you're just loading your deck full of 6 drops.
think
You're like,
so.
they all cost 3 now.
Every single
Like,
card in my
no,
deck has to
they
cost 6 or more.
one of them maybe gets to cost 3. I think it's gonna find homes though. Deal something for like 6 mana, dealing 3 to 2 things, or dealing 3 to the face or the nexus and 3 to a unit. That's pretty powerful. And if you have a deck that cares about 6 casted cost spells, this is like not a bad one for sure. So I think it sees some play.
I think you might even end up like main decking it over just like putting it with Jayce spell.
Yeah.
Especially if there's like a Jayce Ezreal deck. Like I could see it as a 2 of something like that.
Yeah. Okay, what's next up?
Next on our lovely list
Assembly line.
is Assembly Line. 6 mana, slow cost, summon 2/3/3s.
It's fine.
It's okay.
It's like a
What I like about it, just on first glance, seeing it for the first time, I like the flavor. You know, we have Scrap Dash Assembly, which summons 2 like 1/1s.
Okay.
Now this spell summons 2 3/3s. I like the flavor where it's going, but other than that, it seems kind of.
I think this is the kind of card like this sort of archetype needs. Like if you want to play a committed Jayce deck or Jayce Lux or whatever, and you want to play 6+ cost spells, you need a card like this, because something like Remembrance is not going to cut it on its own. Like, in so many board states, Remembrance is just like kind of super mediocre. This gives you two really like pretty decent bodies for a turn 3 that let you kind of contest and play like a more defensive role.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if it was a 6 mana spell that gave you a 6/6, because that's basically what it is, right? In some cases,
no, it's way
No.
better than that.
well,
I'm
in
gonna
some cases
hard
it'll be better,
disagree
in some
there.
cases it'll be worse, right? So sometimes you need
I
one
think-
big thing, sometimes you need two things to block. Like it depends.
That's fair, but I think this card existing, I think this is getting underrated, honestly. Because if you remember, like, I think 1 month ago, Navi, right? How scary it was to develop on turn 3 into their double trouble instead of just taking their open. Playing into any PNZ Jayce deck, it's like, as an aggro deck, it's gonna be so terrified trying to make your development on 3. Because they slam this, like, your attack token just gets blown.
Yeah, like 3/3s aren't great, but 2 3/3s on turn 3, it's pretty okay. That blocks well, that trades into most things. Is there anything that doesn't trade into? Like 3/4s.
I
Like
mean,
quick
Draven.
attacks.
Yeah.
Draven.
Literally Draven.
But you could just miss the Traven if you're in a PNC deck.
But
It could cost 3.
yeah, that's kind of my point. Like a non Draven turn 3 develop into any kind of control style PNZ deck is suddenly really scary. I don't think you play 3 of these, but again, this is another kind of like, I think you put 2 in your deck, and it being there will make your opponent's life difficult. And I am all about that
So
kind
do
of
you
deck
get, like,
building.
buffs once this? Like, do we run this in addition to Remembrance or in place of Remembrance? 2 of each?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. You
Okay.
can see that.
I think it's better a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like-
no, it is.
I
It's 2 bodies.
agree that having 2 3/3s is probably going to be better than 1 6/6 in a lot of situations. Because in these decks, a lot of times, like, you're just trying to survive, right? You just want to be able to be wide, not get run over. This could easily, a lot of these will eat a unit and like trade with something else or block like twice. And it, works with your spells matters game plan. So it kind of just does everything that you want to do. This is probably, I would think this is probably better than the deal 3 to 2 things. Going to the face is like kind of nice, but typically with a lot of these decks, like, you're just kind of comboing off late game, right? So like surviving is what's more important, and be able to block with the 3/3 is, better than be able to deal 3 damage to something in case you can't kill it.
Yeah, but how?
So I think it depends on a couple of things. One of the important things you're missing about the deal 3 to 2 different targets is that it kills Poppy.
To be fair, you're paying
Yeah.
6 mana on turn 4 to maybe kill Poppy.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I'm
something
just saying
else.
into Zed Poppy, that's a little bit scary. That's like,
Yeah.
get sharp-sighted and lose
Yeah,
the game.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Scary.
That's
Or
why I
tough.
want Sunburst. So take it
So
back.
then,
Give me my
okay,
Sunburst.
how
stash.
cute is it on Shock Blast to have Lux? You play Shock Blast, you kill 2 things, and then you have the laser to kill another thing. There's value.
Kind of nuts.
If by cute you mean the end of the game for a non-control deck, yes, that is
I would
cute.
say cute. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Okay, what's next?
All right. Next on our lovely list. All right, I wanna go last on this one specifically because
So-
I'm curious about your guys' takes. Forge Chief, 1 mana, 2/1 followers, strike, refill
So
1
it's just
spell
like
mana.
a tune with extra steps, right? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes
so-
it tunes 2, maybe.
When I saw this card, I immediately thought of Shell Shocker, which is probably pretty obvious. It's like pretty similar. It's a 2/1, you get your mana back. But I think it's kind of a card that can be helpful for this kind of archetype, because if you want to play that 6-drop spell on turn 3, like if you want to play your assembly line, if you want to play your remembrance, then you have to have full mana. But this lets you actually have a play on turn 1 that like leads into playing 3/3s or your remembrance or whatever, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, but can you imagine the punish if you play this on turn 1 and it gets thermoed, and then suddenly you can't play your remembrance on turn 3? Like,
Well, you would just want to play it into like that kind of deck.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's like a lot of the other 2/1s for 1, right? Like the ones that are like not totally busted, like the one that makes the 5/2. So basically, like, I get some decks you'll definitely want it, right? And like there's sometimes that's a necessary evil in metas, like like when Ezreal Draven like just had no 1-drops, and like I don't even know if you would still try to jam it in a deck like that, but that was a big crux of that deck, is that it couldn't deal with like fast 1-drops. It's fine. It's totally fine. And I think there will definitely be decks that want it. And the fact that like you guys are saying that you can play it on 1 and then it will hopefully give you the 1 mana back so that you can still cast your 6 cast cost spell on 3. That's like super relevant.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll find a home.
And I think it being in PNZ matters, right? Because PNZ doesn't really have anything like this. So like even like Draven
Yeah, one
Ezreal,
drop for PNZ.
a lot of times Draven Ezreal wanted to like Draven on 3 into a Thermo Beam to get 2 Tri-Beam stacks. Now you can play a 1-drop and still do that. It's all right.
I think if there is a deck, if there is a 6-cost spell deck that actually exists that can do this kind of mid-range Jayce power-up thing, this card is why. I think this card is, it might not end up seeing play, but I think it is arguably the best card spoiled so far, including the landmark. And I realize that's a little bit of a hot take. Because the reason it's not quite on the same level as Zoe, but if you think about this card, there's no bad scenario, right? My turn 1, I play a 2/1. If I'm against an aggro deck, then I trade with their thing. Beautiful. I'm not dying. I win. It was 0 mana. Lovely. Okay. If I'm against a control deck, I might get 2 hits in with it. I've gone mana positive. Again, beautiful. If I'm playing against someone who shoots it, then they traded their removal spell for my 1-drop. If you Thermo Beam my 1-drop in the kind of deck I'm playing, I'm cool with that. There's no bad scenario when you play that card. And that immediately makes me think this
Turn
is potentially
6
a really
off
good
the
card.
top. Oh, good. It's that 1-drop I did not want to see.
Okay, but you put cards in your deck that cost 1 mana, that's true. But that's the price you pay for not dying to aggro, Jason.
Excuse me, sir, but I've never been like, oh no, Zoe, I don't want that.
That's why I said it wasn't Zoe.
Oh.
Zoe's the most busted card in the
Okay, sorry,
fucking
I thought I
game.
misheard you then. I thought you said it's like Zoe. Like, there's never a bad scenario to
No,
draw it. I
so-
was like, I have to turn like 2.
So it's like Zoe in the way that it's a 1-drop that I don't think can trade down, right? Like it's a 1-drop where if you have it early, you're never going to be losing with it. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, I'll let this one go, but there's a gap there. That's all I'm saying. There's a bit of a gap between those cards.
It's not Zoe, but I think it might be Treasure Seeker. And I realize
Okay,
that's still a hot take, but I'll stand by that
That's
one.
closer. Like Zoe might be the best card of the game. Like Zoe's insane.
That's fair. It's nowhere near Zoe, but I think it's very close to
that's a
Treasure
better
Seeker.
comparison. Because Treasure Seeker's busted. That card's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a Treasure Seeker on turn like 7 or 8, you know? Like that card's pretty crazy.
And sometimes having a 0 mana 2/1 late in the game is a big deal too.
Maybe,
It
yeah.
can be. It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, triggers Radiant Guardian.
Again, like we were talking about, things that are free tend to be kind of busted, and this isn't like totally free. There's conditions and whatnot, but like sometimes it is going to be free, or even like spell positive,
Mana positive.
positive
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah,
Mana positive.
And so it definitely, I'm with you there. It has the potential to be very, very, very strong.
So as far as going like spell mana positive, is this the type of deck that, you know, if you get an open swing on turn 1 and then block on turn 2, are you using your mana in such a way that it matters?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if you can actually play anything.
If I get an open swing on turn 1, I'll just Mystic Shot their turn 2 play and keep swinging.
Yeah, it's like your P&Z deck. Like you always have some spells to cast. Like there's always something, right?
I'm just trying to think, if you're trying to cast the assembly line on turn 3, then like a lot of times the extra mana won't matter. I think it can. I think there are some situations where it can, but I'm just not sure how often we're really going plus in mana with this card.
The thing is, the way this deck works, you don't need to play Assembly Line on turn 3 either, right? Because you can just play Forge of Tomorrow, and then you can play whatever on turn 4. So if I to go plus 1 mana, and I go to like 4 mana on turn 2, I Mystic Shot something, and then I just play Forge, and then the next turn I can play Assembly Line and have 3 mana back. And
Forge of Tomorrow into Assembly Line? That's not okay. What the fuck?
I mean, you kind of have a board full of 3/3s
okay.
and all of your
What
mana.
the
That
fuck?
sounds pretty fun.
Wait,
I'm kind of okay with that.
Obviously, that's kind of a nuts hand,
That's
but like
kind of
it's like
really
an
good.
example of how it can be very, very good. Yeah.
And I don't think like you need to go like mana positive. That's like getting 2 hits in with like the card that discounts a card. It's like in a very
exactly.
in a very whatever world, you're very happy with that if it happens. But like if you get 1 hit in,
Still
I'll
doing
be
its job.
happy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you'll get. I mean, it's a 1-drop, right? Like you'll get 2 hits in a decent amount. Like the thing that pumps up the darkness
That's
spells.
Catalyzer.
Yeah, sometimes people don't even have 2
Yeah,
drops.
like sometimes that just gets in for 2, like that, and like not sometimes, like that happens like a decent amount of time, right? And this is a 1-drop. That's much more difficult to stop on turn 1.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this one ends up, where it lands, and what decks it ends up in. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be seeing some play. All right, what do we got next?
Next is Bad Concologist. I mean, Pharaoh's Financier. It's 2-mana 2/2 that says play, manifest a 6+ spell.
I
from
like
your
this
regions.
card. How dare you? Concologist
This
is
is-
cracked.
yeah.
I loved Concologist at the beginning. And Ben's like, I don't like this card. Why is it in my darkness deck? I was like, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. This, you know what this reminds me of? There's the I think it's like a 3-mana 3/3 that puts like 3 6 casting cost cards into your deck. It's like something like that.
It's
4
a
mana,
4-mana
4-mana
3/3, and that's
okay.
why it's
Warden,
bad.
except
But whenever you draw one of those cards, you're just like, oh, hey, I'm playing like a non Demacia deck, and then all of a sudden I have Judgment or whatever. Like, it's just like we have something that's like just gets your opponent like
So,
out of
think-
nowhere. So this will be a little different because it's like it's the same region or whatever. But like it'll give you just random stuff that's like so hard for your opponent to play around. So I'm not saying this card's like cracked by any means. But I think it's really fun, and I think it's like has potential.
I think it's all right. I mean, there are definitely some region combinations where you're getting like good cards for this. You know, I'm thinking like PNZSI has like a lot of really good hits, especially since it's manifest. So assumedly you're choosing from 3, right? It's like
Oh, wait. This can get me atrocity.
Yeah, this
I
is
take it all
more
back. Fuck this
atrocity.
card. We're playing 3.
like I've played with Flash of Brilliance before, and like that card has sometimes won me the games by like giving me some random high roll, right? But now I get to choose between 3 random high rolls. Like I'm booming. This
And you
card
get a
looks
2/2.
mm,
And you
good.
get a
You get
2/2.
to choose?
Yeah, this card's just like
Manifest.
slightly worse than college. Well,
You look at 3 and it gives you 1. It's
What?
manifest.
it's concologist.
I didn't even know that.
It's like
I thought I just gave you one.
it's like a better Flash of
So-
Brilliance.
No.
that this deck or this card, I'm glad that this card isn't like Conch, right? Because Conch is fine, but I'm thinking like Loping, you know, it's fucking random, whatever you end up hitting. Like with this card, we're very much like it's
It's in your
regional, right?
regions.
So you kind of have an idea of what your opponent
Yeah.
could have.
Mhm.
I think this card's really cool. I don't know if it's like super good. I think it's good.
I think it's good.
I-
I'd rate this pretty highly.
I immediately want to take 3 of these and make like escapist pile, like the Sentinels plus Jayce deck, and just like atrocity
Just
people.
atrocity.
I'm kind
So
of
like
into that.
what are our worst hits here, right? Like worst case scenario, you get like a piercing darkness and heal 5. There's some matchups where that like instantly wins you the game, right?
That's not worst case, is it?
And like you get some random stuff, like you get Give It All, you get Progress Day, you get Hex Tech
Yo,
Transmog,
Progress
which you know, like
Give
these
It
are
All?
good
Because you
situation
have
cards.
2 regions, right? So you have to take the worst 3 from 2 regions.
Yeah,
But
like,
like
Unlicensed
Yeah.
innovation.
here's the
Give
thing,
it all.
though, right? Here's
Brood Awake.
and-
here's the thing.
Give It All's not
looking at,
bad.
This deck
ceiling
it is.
floor. We're looking at ceiling floor. Like the floor for this is still it's a 2-mana 2/2.
Yeah.
So like it's not
I think
not the
it's
end of the
good.
world, you know?
I mean,
It's good.
Yeah,
It's
even
good.
the
Yeah,
spell
it's a
floor
2-mana
is
2/2.
the spell
and it's a
floor is
two-
not low on this card.
It's a 2-mana 2/2 that gives me something to rummage. That's
That's
never
also
a bad thing.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no, like fodder is important.
I think this card's nuts.
Yeah, I'm with Jason.
This I might have underrated this. I think I've been talked around. Someone mentioned atrocity. I'm on it.
This guy.
That's all you have to do. It's like look at this really bad unit. It's like, but Jordan, you could use it to throw at their face. Like, of course, of course.
That's true.
Why did I think of that?
If me and Happy Face. I'm old school Endure, man. It's my happy place. I can't
That's
help
fair.
it.
Are there more? Do we got more?
One more, right?
we have
I
2
think
more.
we have one more.
One more.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
the anomaly.
one more. Hextech
Oh, this one.
Anomaly. It's a 6-mana focus spell, except it's not, because you're never going to cast this card. I think you theoretically cannot cast this card. Because it says, when you draw or create me in hand, or each round start while I'm in your hand, transform me into a random 6-cost spell. And that's not region locked. It's a random 6-cost spell.
I'm gonna guess that it doesn't keep the focus
Almost
part of it when it transforms.
Almost
I
certainly
really
not.
hope not. What? That would make it playable.
I mean,
No, this is
No.
I'm not even sure it would. Might not make it playable.
this
That's
is
still bad.
This is like 10 times worse than the finance.
This is awful, but it's
Like-
funny as hell.
How? Oh, you can generate off the finance, right?
Okay, yeah, no, there's gonna be some moments where you get two really bad choices at this, and you're gonna pick this off Financer. It's gonna be some major tournament. Some Yahoo is gonna win.
Except it's capped at 6 cost spell. Like if I saw this card, I think like it could transform into like a 6+
that's
cost
true.
spell, like the Financier could, but it's locked to 6 cost, and that's a lot more limiting. Maybe it's better. Maybe
feel like
it's
that makes
worse,
it
but,
better.
like,
Tom
But-
win you the game, right?
Aurora Borealis,
Okay.
man.
That's
Come
insane.
like
on.
sure you can get like the poppy spell, you can get like double tap. I
So
don't
I'm
know. You can get
thinking
remembrance,
non-dust.
but like
Does it
some of these are
Does it double tap?
Dominant does.
I got all right, prediction. Storms. We're gonna see Financiers grab this spell, turns into Dawn Dusk,
If-
and wins the fucking
if
game.
this happens
I wanna see it.
In Worlds, you're this. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like
Okay.
that's just
You're
so
done.
gross.
You're done.
See,
This clip is coming back.
they're like
This is like
things that-
Majin's like BRB winning seasonals.
There's some of these
God.
cards that are like,
Dude, whoever is the victim, I'm
The
sorry.
shot has been. What if it's you? The shot has been called.
there's some of these
Speaking
cards that are
of
like really
worlds.
big, right? So I'm thinking like, what if you randomly get a Stand United? Like, how the fuck does your opponent play around Stand United, right? Or like a Ricochet Lethal or Mini Morph?
Sorry, what's Stand United?
That's
Is
the
it two
Shen
things
spell.
get.
So you swap two
It's-
people and give them barrier.
Oh,
Like, I think this
We're
could
back to
be
back,
back to
right?
back. So the two things get
or
plus 3 plus
Strong
3?
Arm. You take their
like what? This is like a one of tech card and super slow.
no, you
controlling
generate
matchup.
generate it.
Don't play it. Don't
Jason,
do it.
please don't.
But like, if it gets generated, then it might do some interesting things. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
saying.
I'm happy taking it off of the financier, but I
Okay,
don't want to
so
put
I
this in
mean,
my deck.
You know, in old League of Legends, there used to be this thing you could take called your 1% crit chance rune. To 1% of the time, you just crit. What if we took our 1 in 40 shot of, maybe we get a good card and automatically win the game?
I just have to look at like the pool of 6
Let's
cost
move it fast.
spells and just
I'm
like
looking at them.
pinpoint
They're-
like
Wait,
yeah, it's like
Harsh Winds cost
Harshman
6.
can be a good hit.
That's a good one.
sure like Harsh Winds, Mini Morph, a lot of Demacia ones, like Redoubled Valor, who knows everything else.
Hextech
back to
Transmog.
back.
Redouble. Oh
The pool
god.
can't be that big, right? Speaking of which, we are making a fun little what do you call this? Like a cheat sheet thing on masterguitar.com. Plug. Where it'll be like, you can pick the casting cost or the region, and it'll just like sort all the cards that are yeah.
That's
Isn't that cool.
cool.
So you can just go all 6 casting costs, it would just show you all of them, and
Nice.
yeah, it's
That's
dope, right?
solid.
So that's on its way. Okay, speaking of like, before we get on to the next topic, which is the whole PvE thing that's coming out, which looks super cool. And I know that Jordan is definitely not excited about. Speaking of like, the next worlds. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen like next year, or like what do you want to see happen?
Person.
In-person events, yeah, those would be dope when they finally happen. They'll happen eventually,
Yeah.
I think.
Eventually,
Okay,
hope.
so I was just looking at I have a meme that I'm like waiting to create. But like basically I saw the team fight tactics. First of all, oh man, someone it was like, I think it was, who's the guy that's in charge of team fight tactics?
More dog.
Mordog. He posted like a thing that was like, love, not that we cared so much about Twitch stats, but love to see it. It was like a shot of like like the players playing games on Twitch. It's like leagues at the top. Valorant's number 2. And it's like TFT somehow is like number 4 with like 70,000 viewers or something. And it was like, boom, there it is. And I was like, ugh. And then like I wanted to be like Runeterra down at the bottom. And then and then I saw that, okay, so this is the actual thing. I saw this like the post for all the TFT tournaments. Have you guys seen this? They have like all these different cups and stuff, and like different qualifiers, like regional ones. They have like so many tournaments and cool stuff. And I was just gonna go in there and like, it was like, I don't know what it was called. It's like Zenith Cup. And I was gonna like put it like a line through it and be like Zoe Cup. And like just like redo it into like Runeterra things.
Oh,
But like, frankly, like they have a sweet system. Like it looks like something we could literally copy paste over to Runeterra and be like, hey, we have a sweet system now. So I, man, this is okay. This is my view. Literally anything but like a home run on this like next go at organized play is going to be a huge letdown. If we don't get, for me anyways, if we don't get like at least what TFT has or something along those lines, I'm just going to be like, come on, like what are you guys even like doing out there? Do you guys have any expectations or anything for like what's coming next year?
Do you have our first league that's coming up? That's pretty new. That's hosted by the Runeterra Academy. I'm sure you guys all heard of it before. I think that's pretty sick.
There's plenty of leagues. Like there's been a billion Brazilian leagues like in the past. I mean, it'll be fun. I think most of us will be playing it. I'm not sure.
We have one coming.
Yeah.
Like a normal league. Not
yeah.
The Academy one's a team one, right?
Yeah. But you're doing an individuals league.
Yeah, so ours is it's gonna be like a series basically. There'll be like 7 weeks of qualifiers for like the winner will qualify. There'll be a championship at the end. Winner will qualify. You'll get points every week, and then like cut to top like 32 or 64, whatever it is, and those people qualify for the championship through points.
That'd be sick, yeah.
Yeah, so we're like that's like in the final stages. Hopefully launching like next month. But it's still not on the level of like a Riot sponsored like league, like a pro league or whatever. Does anyone play TFT, by the way?
A little bit.
Jordan, do you play? Does anyone know exactly what their pro scene looks like?
They have like a pretty detailed qualifier system for like every set. They have a worlds. And they have like a very detailed qualifying system to get into Worlds from regional competition. And they have like a whole bunch of tournaments to qualify. You can qualify through ladder. It's very, very like detailed. I remember there's like this graphic with like 8 bubbles.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, it's like,
I just saw that. Yeah.
So they have a lot of stuff like figured out for that.
Yeah. So basically if we're not getting something along those lines, I'm like, that's what I expect coming into next year. I'm curious if you guys haven't like given it a thought.
At the very least, I want Worlds again. We have to have Worlds again, and I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
But I would like that to be a little bit better than just like this double Elan tournament, and now like 5 of you go. I mean, I know you guys got to go with Jordan and Icado, but like, come on, we can do better.
Give me more. Yeah, and I mean, it was also like. That's what we've had, right? It's really old hat. I mean, look at this. You guys remember when seasonals first came out? That was huge, right? Like Bay and I both came over to play Runeterra when seasonals got announced. Basically, that's what brought us to the game, and what brought a lot of people, I think. And now in seasonals, now that like Worlds is done and seasonals is, I mean, seasonals didn't qualify you for anything back then either. It was just a cash money tournament, which is what it is now. And like back then, it was a huge deal. It's big. And right now, I feel like most people are like, maybe not most, but a lot of people are like, yeah. Henneke didn't even bother play. Henneke top 32s every single one he plays in. Couldn't even be bothered. Had to go eat some turkey instead. Let's go have Thanksgiving. Bay phoned it in and then like left halfway through to go on a date. Like it's definitely not what it was at the first one, right? So like you can see that like we got to ramp things up, and I feel like Riot knows this. Like they're like, look at everything. Basically, everything they do is fantastic, right? Like, there's a real high bar there of excellence. Like, look at Arcane. Did it themselves, crushed it. Like, everything around it's been awesome. All their games are great. Like, most things they knock out of the park. So I was really happy. I know a lot of people were upset when they, like, took time off to, like, revamp everything. But I was like, nah, that's what they need to do. Because, like, from the ground up, things need to change. What they're going to offer in client is it best of 3 ladder? Is it like there's got to be some best of 3 component for us to be playing. If it's not ladder, then make it something else. And all that has to tie into the whole competitive scene, which also totally needs to be redone for the ground up. So I was happy. Like, take your time, but get it right. Because like if they take all this time and we don't get anything until the beginning of next year, and it's like a dud, I can't imagine it being a dud. I literally can't see them ever just being like, here's seasonals and like 2 worlds. Like, there you go. But if that happens, let me tell you,
I'm
Riot,
not- I
get
feel
some
like
more
they have to
security
have-
coming down there. You have some angry Canadians on your hands. Okay.
They have to have some kind of plan, because they specifically have said the last couple of seasonals, and then this one coming up too, I think, just don't count for
Well,
qualification
the
for
last
whatever the
one
thing
plus
is.
this one, yeah.
Yeah, right. And if that's true, then they have to have a thing, and they have to have planned a different way to qualify for it.
That's not how
right?
I read that. I read that as we don't have a thing. Thus, this does not qualify you for anything because there's nothing to be qualified for.
I
That's
think
what I
there's
read that.
there's the pessimistic way to look at it, where like, you know, Riot doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, so we're just like on hiatus right now. Or they have a big plan and they're like, okay, so these next couple things we're just gonna ride it out. You do these seasonals, but then next year, you wait for next year where it's gonna be much cooler. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's hard to say which one.
that's what I read into
Yeah.
it, was that like they needed time to make the big plan, right? Sure as hell hope so.
And to be fair, I think this giant PvE is a part of that, right? Because I think they've been really focused on that. Because as much as we're kind of the competitive players up here, like more than 50% of the gamers are here to play it as a game, not as a thing where they're trying to be like the best of the world. And the PvE content is going to drive
we
people into the
considered
game.
That there
And-
might be PvE worlds. Maybe that's the next iteration, guys.
Oh
Get
my
out.
God.
I
out.
will shoot you.
Who invited him?
Jason, thoughts on PvE worlds?
Yeah.
You both of you on the bench. Okay, so we'll talk about PvE now. Shoot, there was like one other thing. I don't know, whatever. Let's just go with the PvE. What do we know about PvE? I saw the trailer. It looks fantastic. It does look very, very good. But what do we actually know about it? Like, it looks like it's going to be a story. You
It
can play
looks-
as different characters.
It looks to be a massively expanded version
Saltwater
of
Scourge,
the
yeah.
of the thing we got with Gangplank, right? It looks like they took that, and it's going to be multiple different storylines and multiple different acts. And here's the thing. And for me, whether I get super lost in this or not, I think is going to depend on whether if they've included a scalable difficulty. Because if this is like Slay the Spire and it gets to the point where it is ridiculously hard, then I will lose myself.
That's
in
what
this
they
game.
said, right? They did say
but-
it gets more difficult. How difficult though? We don't know.
Yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
know what their levels are, right? Like not to be arrogant, but a little difficult ain't gonna help me out much. But if it's more like, clearly it's PvE, and PvE will always be on some level more of a casual focus, and I'm fine with that. But if it's a casual focus that also has an insane difficulty mode, then I will go nuts. And if it's a casual focus that doesn't, I'll probably play it
Yeah.
once.
What? I didn't play the other one. Is it Slay the Spire? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Slay the Spire is kind of like the progenitor of all of these games, where you start with a deck and you spend the entire thing adjusting your deck as you go through the story and fight all these different hard
So
bosses.
the other one
That-
in
that's-
LOR was called Saltwater Scourge, the Gangplank one.
Correct.
But
Ah.
yeah, it was. I think it's supposed to be like a much more expanded version of it. They have like stories and little cartoons and stuff. That'll be super fun, I think.
Yeah, and then also, like, do you notice the part where it's like a choose your own adventure? Like, do you take the deal? Do you go good? Do you go bad? So it looks like it has a lot of replayability, because you can, there's all these different
Paths,
trees that you can go down, paths that you can go down, and then different skills that you can choose where you'd have to go back and like try it again, and then also just all the different characters that you can play as, which was pretty freaking cool.
It's looking to be a large explorable world, kind of like single player RPG style with a card game, which sounds like it'll be fun.
Yeah, nice. I actually forgot about this, but I get sneak peek access to it tomorrow, which is Tuesday,
Yeah.
depending on when you're listening to this. So Jordan, if you
Cards
want
as
to,
well.
Are you gonna be streaming that? Are we plug in Mr.
I will be
Jason's
streaming
stream?
that at some point during tomorrow. Bay will also, I guess, have access. He'll probably be doing it also. That's like a good stream you should watch. I guess I'll be doing it during the day sometime. It's not
I
my
would,
thing,
but
okay?
I'm
I'm
not
not based.
I would stream it for like 12 fucking hours, but I don't have access, so I won't.
That's funny, because I specifically was like, could you give Jordan access? And They just said no.
Damn.
We said
Like,
who?
it was like it was like
because
it was like
it's 'cause
2
they hate
paragraphs of like he does so much for the community. He's really a guy. It means so much to him. It was just like N. They was like N, and they sent the message, and then they sent the message. I was like, wow, that was harsh.
It's because I'm secretly really toxic, and they figured that out, so I'm never gonna be LPP.
That's
It's
fair.
You know,
terrible.
Yeah, the chat logs, huh?
They saw your Worlds interview and they're like, "Oh my god, this
Right.
Jordan guy is just too toxic."
Yeah, fuck that guy.
They're mad
If you
because
wanna
you
come
left
hang- if
spectate
you wanna
game.
come hang out, if you want to come hang out in Discord, I will play it with you. So you can choose the adventure, and I'll just click the things. For
That's
you.
a good deal. That's a good deal.
No, you mother! Are you kidding me right now? I'm gonna play this thing for you, and you're gonna do me unbelievable, unbelievable.
I love you, buddy, but that ain't
wow.
much
12 out
fun.
of 10 content. I don't know what you're talking about. I would love to watch Jordan backseat Jason.
I think that could last 20 minutes tops before you guys start yelling at each other.
But the 20 minutes would be glorious.
I would start trolling him. I would start trolling him so
He's gonna
fast.
purposely miss
Oh yeah,
an
he's like,
option.
he's like,
oh, you said
he's like,
middle,
"Hey,
click right.
Leo, we're going down the path of light. I'd be like, I know.
I think he's right. Like 20 minutes before it
That was
evolved completely.
generous. Yeah,
That sounds
20
about
minutes
right.
is generous.
More like 10.
Oh,
Uh,
man. I think it'll be fun though. I think it'll be really fun. I'm gonna get it a day later than all these real cool streamers over here. But
Are
it'll be
we
fun.
getting a new what's it called? The draft format.
Expedit.
Expedition?
Expedition getting refreshed or
I
anything?
think we're just getting
That's not
Jayce,
part of
and we'll
labs.
have Jayce in it, and that's probably about it.
Oh, okay.
Labs are labs. Expedition is
I
its
mean,
own thing.
We've talked about this a few times. I don't know if it will ever happen, but competitive draft for Legends of Runeterra would be
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's going to be really difficult for me because Seasonals is going to land on the same weekend as the Magic Arena 2K Open. And I gotta win that $2,000.
going
Or, well,
both?
at least try.
just multi.
You can, yeah, no,
Come
definitely
on,
multiple.
man.
You can do it at different times, the Magic thing. So like I'll do it before or after or whatever. But basically, Riot, please God, bring that. Please bring that to Runeterra. 1, bring draft, bring good draft. And 2, bring some system where we can win cash money in one day. Like that is so cool. I'll play PvE, whatever you want. Just let me I will for money. Are you kidding?
It would be. I think it would be very cool to see like actual draft in Runeterra. It would be something very different. I also think that it would be the best story ever if you multi-table and win seasonals and the Magic event at the same time. Like how fucking awesome
Massive
would that
bragging
be?
rates.
That'd be pretty good.
Right? If I can curse someone with terrible luck on RNG, I gotta be able to give some good stuff to my boy Jason too, right? Gotta be able to go both
You
ways.
have all of the power. Is there anything else that got announced? There's also the big pass that we don't really know too much about, right? So what is that? It's like a mega event pass.
Yeah, it's just an event pass. I think we've had tons of event pass in the past, just like emotes, little few cards. I don't know. They're cool.
But I think on the horizon, though, there's been a little bit activity from the Riot side, just testing the waters, see what people want upgraded
right.
for like January, some big patch or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's how cool is it that they do that?
And
eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're
Are you-
so good to
right.
us.
Yeah, right. If you're listening, the thing that you do with the devs where they reach out to the community and we get to like chat about them, we're like, hey, we're supposed to give you guys a game that you like to play. Why don't you just tell us what you want? And we're like, yeah, cool. This is what we want. And then just that happens and everyone's happy. Could you just do that with like organized play and like the production of like the in-game stuff? Because that would be freaking fantastic. Fix your clock. Sorry, but that was off topic. But like, like when it comes to everything else, like there's I don't know, it's like radio silence. So get those other teams going, because like, man, that's cool. It's so cool. They're on. For anyone who doesn't know, the devs are on Twitter and on Reddit. That are the ones that are responsible for the next big patch coming in January, being like, hey, what do you guys want to see? And there's just like hundreds of responses on things that people want. Really detailed, well thought out stuff. Have you guys looked at some of that? Like some of the suggestions are fantastic. They're really good.
What are some you guys saw?
A lot of the buffs I was impressed by. I can't remember exactly what they were, but like some people put in some real time and effort into some of these buffs. There's a lot of the champions that don't see like any play basically. Because a lot of them, I mean, it's tough, right? It's tough to find that sweet spot of like buffing or nerfing something, but not overdoing it so that like the card's unplayable or the card's too good. And some of the like people took cards in like really unique kind of directions. Like the things that I always think of are like, oh, change the mana, change the toughness or the power or the health. But like people like put different keywords, different like level up abilities even were thrown in there. There's a lot of design space for them to work with, you know? Like it's a digital game. It's almost limitless, the things that they can do. And I feel like, I don't know, what do you guys think about this? I feel like almost I'm getting like a little off topic there, but I feel like they've kind of like stopped pushing a lot of stuff. Like even look at Jayce, you know? Like, yeah, okay, kind of does some stuff, but like, I don't know. Look at things like Aphelios, Zoe, I guess Ezreal, Karma. Like these are like champs. Are like, damn. When they level up, it's like they do a lot of things. They're like multifaceted. Whereas like now it's like Ziggs, Tristana.
Right. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's also like Xerath is kind of cool. But what about we just got like Akshan and Viego, right? Akshan's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like I think
super
that
cool.
our next big expansion.
I'm pretty sure there's a theme between some of these champions. Like how many of these did Ruben Zoo create? Because I'm pretty sure it's a lot of them. Pretty sure his champs are like real.
Most of them.
He meets it.
Unbelievable.
He really let us down.
I'm also gonna say, I think from a design perspective, it's really important to have both champions and followers, but like champions specifically that are also just these like solid, this is the game plan, can be put in many things. Because a lot of people,
That's fair.
The thing you forget about the super intricate champions is that you get a lot of splashback about copy paste decks, right? People really don't like that. For example, you want to talk an intricate champion, Soraka, right? Soraka is huge, does a bunch of different things, and basically has one deck. Unless your name is Grandpa Roji and you're going to play Soraka Poppy, but that's not real. Roji, get help.
What about Soraka?
Soraka Nocturne, Shadow's Bitter.
Nami, Soraka Nami. Come on, what are you talking about?
Soraka Dragon.
I mean, there's a lot of space here, guys.
Tom Kedge.
Having champions that can be put in multiple different places, I think is also a really big deal because that like it increases ingenuity and deck design.
That's true. I mean, Jayce kind of fits that like Lux package that people have been asking for like pretty much since the game's release. Like that's pretty much been unplayable forever. And
he's also very splashable,
exactly. So
right?
I feel like he's actually pretty good design.
It's pretty decent.
I love Jayce.
I mean, you make good points. You're right, because a lot of those champions do get stuck in like sort of one deck, like the lurk champions or like the deep champions,
and the only one that did it was Aphelios, and that's just he was the most busted thing under the sun, right? The only like super intricate champion that didn't get like hard copy pasted was basically Aphelios. Right? And Aphelios was just like, okay, I'm doing the stupidest thing in the world. Fuck you, put me with that.
Basically
splashable, right? He's just like generically really good at getting you value.
He's Akshan, yeah.
There is one good deck
Infinite
that has played
super
Akshan
cool
ever.
and lots of fun. I think if Sivir Akshan wasn't the strongest thing you could be doing with Akshan, Akshan could be splashed with like, Echo, other champions.
I mean, a lot of the champions I just mentioned though are like they're very powerful, but that makes it so they splash with like a bunch of different decks, right?
Yeah.
Like there's lots of Ezreal decks, there's lots of Twisted Fate decks. There's there's a couple Zoe decks out there last I checked. So yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm going anywhere with the point of this, but like because there's also champs that are like really interesting, but they just kind of go nowhere. So it's also sort of like a power level thing,
What you're saying is you want OP champions that can get put in any deck.
Like Jayce.
Yes.
Jayce.
Jason coming out in favor of power creep live in 4K.
Honestly, it's better. Like, you know what's funny? Because like I hated it in Magic. It was the worst thing ever in Magic. But guess what? Digital card game, totally different. And the opposite of power creep, kind of not good either. Where you're like, here's a bunch of cards, they all suck. Cool.
That's not.
But you know what I mean though? Like when cards come out and they're not like super exciting and busted.
Yeah.
Like let's look at like I don't know, Shurima.
Rivet, Victor.
We have Victor. Like the Shurima package was like, it was like, let's go, baby. Gonna take down Fizz TF. Let's go. Oh crap. That desert's fast.
Yeah.
So like that's not good either, right? So like I'm kind of now I'm just like, you know what? Let's just every time give me the busted, fun, exciting stuff, and then next month nerf it. Bring it back down just a little bit. I think that's better.
I mean,
No?
2 seasons into Shurima
That
was
is a,
busted. Like we saw Renekton, Azir, Nasus, and we were all like, "Oh, these cards are so bad; they don't do anything." And then the next seasonal, they were like just dominating everything, or even maybe that seasonal because after
Wasn't that after the rest of Shurima
Yeah.
came out though?
So at the
Yeah,
end,
that was
well,
an
not Thresh Nasus. Thresh Nasus was
Yeah.
good off the rip, but after we got more like Azir stuff, after people figured out overwhelms, like those cards were really, really good.
I thought that was after they did a huge nerf.
They did.
That
They did
massive
nerf.
and then that's when
That probably is,
TLC,
yeah,
Thresh Nasus, all that stuff came out.
Is Shurima complete yet? I assume
Yeah.
so. I
Yeah.
for some reason lost track.
Jason, it's been like 4
Anyways.
months, bro.
Maybe
I don't
there's
have
a
it
third
back, man.
expansion. I don't
All
know.
right, we killed Cameron. I think it's time to end the podcast.
We killed Kane.
Yeah, don't die.
But I'm excited.
All right. Any other anything to wrap up with as we're wrapping up here? Any thoughts? Anything we missed?
What you guys think of the meta right now?
Ooh,
the meta.
good question.
We live in a meta.
Nailed it.
Honestly, I've been mostly playing on like an all-in like diamond right now. Meta's honestly like not as diverse there as I would maybe expect. I feel like there's a lot of like darkness or like there's just few less decks right now. A lot more like Poppy, Zed, a lot darkness for some reason. But maybe in diamond I don't really see the diversity as much, which is kind of strange. But I assume in Masters it's a little better.
Yeah.
than-
But I mean, Sion is still really good.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of mono green, a
Yeah.
little bit of
How's that
Esper.
going?
So mostly I've been playing Magic here and there. I will say though, the one deck I've been playing in Runeterra that I love right now is what's the Cythria combo. I've been playing Ducks
Interesting.
Ducks seasonal winning list and basically crushing everything that isn't what's the new deck? Teemo Swain.
Mm,
That's not like a Swain deck because they can deal with the huge units. Everything else though kind of just folds to it. Like a lot of decks are just like they can't handle just a bunch of clunkers with a fast combo.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing is that the meta is terribly narrow, except you can also play Teemo Swain and Matron Cythria combo.
I didn't say it was narrow.
Interesting. You never said he was narrow, did he?
Okay, sorry. Maybe I'm mocking somebody else.
I think it's
It's a reflex to
that's
target
fair.
Jason.
Normally
I'll
I
work on
do
it.
say it's
Didn't
normally
say
I
it
do
was
say it's
narrow. I
think
just
it's
see I
boring.
see a lot of the same
That's
decks.
I'm just bored of it because I've played all these decks like 4 months ago.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I can play like pretty much any deck. But I feel like I'm running into a lot more same
I, don't know,
decks.
I feel like there's a lot of new stuff coming up this year. Like there's like the Lux Poppy deck. There's Teemo Swain. There's
Is
So-
the
yeah,
new
the new
Teemo
Teemo
Sedge.
Sedge.
Yeah.
Sedge too.
There is stuff. But it's like it's kind of more of the same, right? Like
Sure.
Teemo Sedge or TF Sedge. Like, woo. It's not that
Plain
exciting.
TF Sedge.
The play patterns are very similar. And so like yeah, there's not nothing new happening. It's not totally
Hey, Jason
stale.
just made a new deck here live on stream. We got TF Sedge
broken,
now.
guys.
TV Sedge.
You heard it here first.
Oh, I didn't say
Sedge,
Sedge. I meant to say
let's go.
Swain.
Oh,
Timo saying
So wait,
TF
Oh, yeah,
TF
TF
Swain.
yeah,
Swain.
Gameplay
Yeah.
Noxus is like kind of coming back, right? Haneke, do you
Yeah.
think it's good?
I haven't played it yet, but I have every intention to do so. And if it is good, I will not be trash at the game anymore, which is nice.
Is that why you skipped the last season, Moles?
Anytime Noxus mid range is good, Hedeki's on top of the game.
Yeah.
That's just how
I
it
have
goes.
one thing.
I think part of it also has to do with like the top decks are like, so like struggling.
Scion.
Scion, for instance, I'm super tired of. I want that to go away. Poppy Zed, like just Poppy decks in general. Again, they're all kind of the same. Sivir Action, I'm so tired of. That's just my personal taste. I just don't like that deck. It's like those are kind of the top sort of decks. I mean, Plunder, like these decks feel very old to me. And I think that's the issue. And like, yeah, there's other decks popping around, but like, how much also is people just having fun? People just like, I don't want to play those decks I just mentioned. Let's try some other stuff. I think there's a lot of that going on. And to be fair, those decks aren't super dominant, but that's not what it's about. It's about just like some fun factor at some point. There's not a lot of tournaments for us to play. We got best of one ladder. It's like, what are you gonna do? Play some other decks, I guess, or not play.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got no new cards this season, but I think it's really interesting how we still continue to produce new things, as despite that, because like, yes, we got like the balance patch, which means like, yeah, some of the meta decks that were there before aren't going to be as dominant, so maybe you can play a bit more stuff. But I think it's really interesting to see like that we continue to build new things. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's important too because there's always stuff to like uncover, I think, and I'm definitely guilty of this. I'm just not a deck builder. It's not my thing. But we as a community, I think, are especially bad at discovering new stuff. How often is Ruben Zoo just like, I don't know, I threw this and this together, and now it's the best thing we could do? And like, whereas the rest of us were like, oh, I never would have found that, like, ever. Like that happens a lot.
First Soul is still
Shit outta
good.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting cards Wednesday, so
we are getting new cards.
Bye.
Oh, we lost. I think he took me literally.
Yeah, she left.
He got his last words in.
Classic.
Car got an atrocity, by the way.
Classic.
And then leaves. Yeah, yeah, very Jordan.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we shall wrap it up. Thank you guys all for listening and for hanging out with us. And we'll see you on Friday for the Master Runeterra podcast, Wednesday for Wednesday Runeterra, and next Monday again for the Runeterra show. Everyone say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Peace.